Hi, welcome to this video. It is all about green. Let's see. What is green? When you think green, you think green with envy, green with jealousy. The grass is green, so spring is near. Green like my money. So many things we think about when we think green. Well, for this video, I'm going to raise awareness on traumatic brain injuries. The color for Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness is green, and March is Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness Month. So let's dive on into this video where we're all about green. Hi, so as I said in the intro, this video is all about Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness. All about green, because green is the color for Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness, and March is Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness Month. So, what is a brain injury? There's so many ways to describe a brain injury. People can have minor brain injuries, they can have major brain injuries. I do want to let you know that no matter if you're, let's see, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the most minor brain injury there is, to 10 being the most major brain injury there is. If you have a brain injury, number 1 is just as important as a number 10. You're important. What you're going through is important. Your struggle is important. And you need to know that. Another thing you need to know is that you're going to get through this. You are a fighter, you are a survivor, and if you let God help you, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. Philippians 4:13. You say, well, how do you know this? Because you are looking at a traumatic brain injury survivor. I still face issues. They're not as major as they once were. Thank you, Jesus. And only by the grace of God are they not as major as they once were. But I'm a brain injury survivor. My doctor said, one of my doctors said that at the time of the injury, I was a classic textbook case for a traumatic brain injury and post-concussive syndrome. Now, post-concussive syndrome is like a branch of a traumatic brain injury. But here's something that I found on Pinterest years ago when I was first looking for things, you know, to kind of help me deal with the fact that, hey, I have a brain injury and I want somebody to understand. This was put out by brainline.org, and I just want to blow it up here so I can show it to you. I don't take credit for this injury. Like I said, it was made by brainline.org. But brain injury. Can you see that? Nope. Maybe. It says, a brain injury is a puzzle. All the pieces are there, but in the wrong order. And that's by a woman named Barbara. That is so true. When you have a brain injury, you know, like, for me, part of my brain was working correctly, the other part was not. And it was like a jumbled mess. I felt like I had just been shaken upside down, really. And everything was all out of place. Like, my words would get mixed up. I would say one thing when I meant another. Sometimes I still do that, but not as often. Sometimes I couldn't get my words out at all. They would freeze. And I plan on doing another video after this video talking about my experience. But the reason I wanted to do All About Green is I'm going to do a similar to All About Blue when I did that one, except this one has a bigger message and meaning for it. So I'm going to do a get ready with me and do all green like I did all blue in the video, but it has a different this is a brain injury moment. It has a different meaning, a deeper message, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But first and foremost, I want you to know that you're not alone. Whether you've had a brain injury for 5, 10, 15 years, or you were diagnosed just yesterday, you're not alone. There are several people that have brain injuries. I think mental health awareness is very important, and it's something that we should talk about more. We shouldn't be ashamed of it. For too many years people have been ashamed of it, and it's a subject that's just been thrown under the rug. Well, I'm here to pull off the rug and talk about it, because it needs to be talked about. Concussions and brain injuries, they're not just for football players, which football players do get them, and that is something that needs to be discussed and tried to be prevented more, I believe. I don't know a lot about football, so that's not my area of expertise, but I will say that yes, football players do get brain injuries, but they're not the only ones that get a brain injury, and it's very important that we talk about it, we share our story. If other people who don't have a brain injury won't speak up, you speak up. I speak up, because we've been through it and we know what a brain injury is. If you have a loved one who suffers with a brain injury or has suffered with a brain injury and have recovered, speak up. Let your voice be heard, because people need to know about it. They need to know it's real. They need to know what signs and symptoms to watch for, not only in others but in themselves. They need to know that it's not something to be made fun of. I was made fun of by co-workers that I thought were friends of mine. I was made fun of, not to my face, but it got back to me and it hurt. It added trauma on top of the trauma I was already experiencing. People need to be educated that a traumatic brain injury is not something that's just like, you'll be fine. Your brain, this organ right up in here, if it wasn't for your brain functioning, the rest, you couldn't move your hands, you couldn't do this. So your brain is an important part of your body. Yeah, and you're thinking your heart is too. It is, but you have to have a working brain, and there are people that they don't understand, and we shouldn't belittle them for not understanding. We should educate them to understand if they want to understand, and if they don't want to understand, then that is on them. That's not your fault. There's nothing you can do about it. Just go on to the next person and maybe they would want to know. But traumatic brain injuries can happen to anybody. Mine happened because of a dirt bike wreck, and I was not wearing a helmet. It was the first time I had ever been on a dirt bike, and I foolishly was not wearing a helmet. Brain injuries can happen from riding a four-wheeler or riding a horse, riding a UTV. You need to make sure that you wear a helmet. And you're thinking, well, you just said football players get brain injuries and they wear helmets. That's true, and I don't understand all the science behind that or the reasons why. You would have to talk to somebody that knows football, but I do know it is important to wear a helmet, okay? It'll help you a lot more than if you do not have a helmet on. Now for me, I never liked helmets for anything. Like even riding a bicycle, you need to wear a helmet. But when I was a kid, I didn't want to wear a helmet and pads to ride a bicycle. I'm Superwoman. I just want to ride a bicycle. Well, that was kind of the same thing with having with riding a dirt bike. I had been riding a four-wheeler for years without a helmet. Why do I need a helmet to ride a dirt bike? Well, I should have had a helmet on. That was my fault. And because that was my fault and I'm learning from that lesson, I want y'all to be able to learn from it too. Now if I ride my horse, I have to wear a helmet. I don't like wearing helmets, but I would rather wear a helmet than have to go through all the traumatic brain injury stuff that I've been through already, or make what I have left of a brain injury worse, if that makes sense. But I do want you to know that if you have a brain injury, you're not alone. If you are a parent or a sibling or an aunt or an uncle, a grandma, a guardian of somebody who does have a brain injury, the best thing you can do is just be there for them. Listen to them. Try to help them if you can. Talk to their doctor. Love them. Hug them. Just be there for them. There were times my mama stayed up all night with me because one of the things I had with my brain injury was insomnia. And the reason I had insomnia is because I would have flashbacks. And every time I'd go to sleep, I'd have a flashback of a wreck. And with the brain injury that I had, and I'm still getting over, it would cause major panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And if you don't know, panic and anxiety, they're different. They can happen at the same time. One can trigger the other. Anxiety can trigger panic. Panic can trigger anxiety, but they're two separate things. And I dealt with a lot of that. Some days I still do, but not nearly as bad as I used to. When you have a traumatic brain injury, some people go through depression. I went through depression very badly. It took a lot of trying different depression medications until we found one that actually helped. And to this day, I still have trouble that the medication don't get it all, like cover it all. But I can say, aside from all the medication that I've been on because of a brain injury, the best medication has been Jesus, or Jesus because he lives in my heart, and the love and support of my family and my doctor and my friends. I have a few close friends, and that helps you through. But mainly Jesus helps you through, because when nobody else understands what's going on inside of you, the creator of you, who knows every intricate part of you, can look inside and sees everything that's going on that you can't see and understand, but you feel that nobody else can see or understand. Jesus can. He don't need a microscope to go inside. He don't need all those fancy tests, and I've been through tests. He can just look at you and he knows exactly. He goes, okay, that's my child, that's my daughter, this is what she's going through, I know what she's going through. Marty, just call out to me, I'm right here with you, and I can help you better than you can help yourself, better than anybody could help you. Just call out to me. It's like taking a computer. If you don't know anything about computers and you can't fix a computer, you take your computer to the manufacturer, or not the manufacturer, you take your computer to a computer technician who knows the ins and outs of that computer, and they can put it back together like brand new, because that's what they do. I mean, some people build computers, and let's say the person that built your computer, you take it to because it's messed up. Okay, the creator of that computer knows everything there is to know about that computer, so they can put it back together perfectly. The creator of you and the creator of me is Jesus. And like a computer programmer or builder or whatever they're called knows the ins and outs of a computer, Jesus knows the ins and outs of us, because he created us. He knows how you remember that quote where it's like a puzzle piece and it's all turned upside down? Jesus knows how to unravel the puzzle piece and put them all back together to where the brain injury that we have, we no longer have. He's a healing God, and he wants to help us through a brain injury. And that's one thing that I have been learning through the years. Since I was diagnosed with a brain injury in 2012. You say 2012? Oh my goodness, it's 2018. Aren't you over it by now? That's another misconception that people have that are not educated on brain injuries. Just because it happened, oh my goodness, there's people that's had brain injuries 20 years ago, that was first diagnosed 20 years ago, and they still have symptoms today. The brain is complex. It's like if you go and you break your arm, it'll heal, but you may still feel those twinges and tingling and hurt from time to time throughout the years. Same thing with a brain injury. Just because you can't see it like you would if your arm was in a cast or your leg was in a cast, the brain it still has problems at times, and that's natural. It's okay. Don't be down on yourself. It took me a while not to beat myself up for having a brain injury this long. It's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about it. It is a diagnosis, it's a disease, it's a mental illness, and I can praise Jesus for the fact that I have come this far. There was a time in my brain injury healing I could not have sat here in front of a camera and done this. For one, the words would not have come out. For two, I was really inside my shell. Three, I'd be panicking and have anxiety by now because most of the day in the beginning it was full of anxiety and panic, and I've just come a long way with Jesus. And I'm gonna do another video. It'll probably, I don't know if it'll be a 1-part video or a 2-part video, but I'm gonna share my testimony and I'm gonna go in depth for the first time. I've gone in depth a little bit in blog posts, and I went in depth a little bit on the video where I sang Praise His Name, and I've given you bits and pieces throughout the videos that I've posted about suicidal thoughts and awareness. But now I think it's time that I pour it all on the line and share with you everything about my traumatic brain injury and my healing. And I'm not going to do it in this video because this video is just to raise awareness, but before the end of this month I will do it. It's personal. It makes me teary-eyed thinking about it, but it's something that I want to share. Not to get sympathy. I had people in the beginning, oh, she's really not sick, she's just wanting sympathy. That's not true. If you believe that, let's go take a look at all my doctor's bills and medical history and talk to all the doctors and the therapists and people that I have seen throughout the past 6 years, and you'll know it's not a sympathy thing. I don't want sympathy. If you know me, you know I'd rather help people than talk about myself, or talk about myself as far as injuries and stuff are concerned. So that's my goal with this video, is I want to help you. I want to encourage you, and I want to raise awareness about traumatic brain issues that you may not be aware of. And don't feel bad if you're not aware of it. I wasn't. I thought very little, if anything, about a traumatic brain injury and the complications. I think the first time that I ever really thought about a traumatic brain injury, or a brain injury like concussions, was I was watching the football game, and I think, was it Florida Gators playing Kentucky? I don't remember who they were playing. I just know I was watching it, or watching the game, and somebody tackled or ran into, I don't remember all the details, but they tackled the player Tim Tebow, and he was my favorite football player. And I remember seeing him just laid out on the ground on the screen, the TV screen, and I'm thinking, oh my word. And then it had later been said he had had a concussion, and that's really the first time that a brain injury or a concussion where I really thought about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Never did I dream that in 2012, May 28th of 2012, that I would experience something similar to what I watched and be laid out unconscious from a brain injury. But yes, I do have pictures that my sister Kim took while we were waiting on the ambulance, and then when the ambulance came. But I don't think I'll show those in the video. I'm not 100% sure yet. I know right after my brain injury I posted them on Facebook because some family wanted to know, and some family in other states wanted to know what was going on, and they wanted to see pictures. I don't know why they wanted to see pictures, but they wanted to see pictures. So I posted the ones that my sister had taken because she'd used my telephone to take the pictures. And the reason she had my telephone is when I wrecked, my telephone was in my pocket and it flew out on the ground, and she picked it up and she was taking pictures with it. But when I posted those pictures, I had it come back to me that people was telling me, oh, she's just seeking attention. And that was not it. It was family wanted to see pictures and know that, hey, this happened, and so that's why I posted the pictures. But I want you to know, if you have a brain injury or you've had a brain injury, no matter what negativity people have thrown at you, don't let it bother you. Let it go in one ear and out the other. Let it roll off of you like a duck's back. It took me a long time to realize that. So listen to me from experience. Don't let the negativity of what other people say bother you. Their ignorance is just that, ignorance. They don't know any better. They don't want to know any better. Some of them might. The majority don't. That's going to talk bad about you. They don't. So just let it go. As the song says, let it go, let it go. Because it doesn't matter. And you'll stress yourself to the point of anxiety and panic attacks. I did. And that was not what I needed to do, because it just made the brain injury that much worse. I'm sensitive. I'm a people pleaser. I like for people to like me. But and there was a time where I tried to get along with everybody. Truth is, you're not going to get along with everybody. Not everybody is going to like you, especially if you're a Christian. And even if you're not a Christian, not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay. You need to be secure enough in Jesus Christ and secure enough in yourself, and the only way you're going to be secure enough in yourself is if you're secure in Jesus Christ. And at that time, I wasn't that secure in the fact that He loved me, He knew the situation, and that was enough. But now I realize Jesus loves me, He was with me, He knew the situation, and that was enough. My parents knew the situation, they loved me, they were with me, they were supportive. My sisters, my brother, well, he's my nephew, but I call him my brother. My other nephews, they were all supportive. They knew, and that's what mattered. The true friends that were there, they knew, they were supportive, and that's what matters. And I want you to know, even if you don't have anybody but yourself, or and your doctor, or whatever, if it's just you by yourself, you need to know that you matter, you're important, and whether anybody gets it or not, you're still important. And I believe you, and God is on your side. Don't forget that. Don't ever forget that. You're a survivor, and you can overcome this through Jesus Christ. Maybe you're thinking, you don't know how bad my brain injury has been. No, I don't. You don't know how bad my brain injury has been. But I know how big my God is. I don't know how big He is, but I have experienced a glimpse at how big my God is and what He has done in my life, healing me of this traumatic brain injury. The Bible says by His stripes I'm healed. Does that mean I saw my healing like that? No, I had to build up my faith in believing that I was healed, and I'm still doing that. But I have seen so much improvement because of Jesus. And you can too. And I want you to know that if you don't have anybody else in your life to help you through a traumatic brain injury, call out to Jesus, because He created you, He knows you, He knew this was going to happen before it ever happened, and He made a way to be there for you, to comfort you, guide you, lead you, heal you, hold you, give you a big old hug, and let you know, honey, it's okay. I got this. So call out to Him, and I promise you, you will not regret it. So this really is a get ready with me video, all about that green, There's another quote that I read, and it is from, actually I pinned this to my Pinterest board years ago when I was first diagnosed. And it is by, I don't have my glasses on, TBIHopeandInspiration.com, and it says, sometimes you have to forget what's gone, appreciate what still remains, and look forward to what's coming next. And that is very true. Sometimes a brain injury will change the person's life. Well, any brain injury will change the person's life, but there are some days where you just have to, you're not going to forget completely, but you're just going to have to realize, you know, the life I had before my brain injury, it's gone. That's in the past. I'm living in the present, and I'm going to look forward to the future, and I have the choice to make the future great. I have the choice to fight and say, you know what, this traumatic brain injury is not going to whip my butt, because I'm stronger. And why am I stronger? Because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. 1 John 4:4. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. With God nothing is impossible. Luke 1:37. And I want you to remember that. Even when, and this is another quote that I pinned on Pinterest, and it's by brainline.org. It says, a brain injury is learning to live in a brain that sometimes feels like it belongs to a stranger. And the person that said that is a lady named Sharon. That, my friend, is very, very true. There were times when I felt like I was living somebody else's life, and I can remember telling my mama and daddy, I want Marty back. Where's Marty? I want Marty back. And there's times I'll still say that because I'm still suffering, or not suffering. I'm not suffering, no. I'm still recovering to a degree. To another degree, I'm over the majority of the brain injury. Does that make sense? Hey Bama, you want to say something too? You've been helping me as well throughout the brain injury? Yeah, my service dog is on the floor, and he is whining because, from one, I'm talking to the camera, and no, he doesn't have to go out or anything. He's just jealous. I made sure he went out before I started this. I did too. You want to get up on the bed with me? Come on. Come up here. There's room. I'm trying to figure out where this... Where's the display setting? Oh, there it is. I'm trying to figure out... I have my passcode on my phone. I have a passcode on it now. But it's set to go off to lock every 2 minutes. And I was trying to find the display so I could set it to lock never for the duration of this video, so that I don't have to keep unlocking it when I want to read a quote from Pinterest. But today is all about green, or this video is all about green. I have a black pair of pants that's not green, but that's okay. This shirt that I'm wearing, I really like it. It is, it's an oversized t-shirt. I bought this from the men's section of the Tim Tebow Foundation website. Well, I did. And I bought it last year before last. Hey, my darling. And it says faith, hope, and love. And one thing, I bought it oversized because at the time I still had a lot of weight that I couldn't get off. I mean, I wasn't huge, but I was bigger than I am now, and it was uncomfortable. And the reason that I had it is because of some medications from the brain injury, and the side effects of 2 or 3 of those medications caused weight gain. So I went through a time where I wanted baggier clothes, and this is from the men's section, and I just loved it, and I love it anyway. So I still wear it because it's comfortable, and because it's green and says faith, hope, and love, I decided to wear it in this video. And that is really what you have to have throughout a brain injury, is faith in God, hope that you are going to come through this, and love from Jesus, love yourself, love from your family, your friends, and you're going to get through this. I promise you, you will. And family, and say hey. You look at the camera and say hey. Mwah. I love you. This one, he's my friend, but he also does service dog acts, and we like to say he was God trained, and that's a whole story in itself. Let's see, I had the brain injury, developed the brain injury in 2012. He was born November 2013, and we brought him home January the 25th of 2014. And my parents said it was like I did a total 360, not 360, 160. Coming out of depression because of him, and even at 6 weeks old, he would sense that I was having a problem and he would come take care of me. Like, it's come natural to him. That's why I like to say he's God trained. You know, when you jumped up here, my ring and my lipstick fell off the bed. Well, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. It's okay. But let's get started with this video. Oh, bless you. I mean, we've got started with this video, but the getting ready with me part where I turn myself green for traumatic brain injury awareness. Okay, that was so off key. So, as always, or almost always, well, always start off with the moisturizer, but he's fixing to jump. There he goes. You getting the ring and the lipstick for me? Oh, you're so sweet. He says, I don't know about that. Well, that was graceful. Sorry. That is one thing I don't claim to ever have been, is very graceful. Sometimes I can be graceful, I guess. Ooh, honey bunny. You are shedding. We need to do something, but what I can't think of at the moment. We need to brush you. Yeah. I was trying to turn my fan off. Bama needs to be brushed. Here, you wanna come up here with me? Look, walk around the tripod and jump up on the bed. He says, I don't want to. Alrighty. Let's get started with the makeup. And as usual, I'm going to use my glasses to get it out of my face. I was going to put on mousse in my hair. Maybe I still can. I was thinking that it was dry. You want to smell this? He likes to smell my lotion, even if it doesn't smell. Does y'all's dogs do that? Oh, you didn't want me to tell them that? I'm sorry. He likes to look out the window behind me, so if you keep seeing the light, it's because he likes looking out the window, and there's probably another reason he's whining. He probably sees something out there that he wants to chase. Sometime in the morning we have deer that get in our horse pasture. We have 3 different horse pastures. One is a grass field, and it's on that side. It's on the left side, and sometimes in the morning you can look out the window and you'll see the deer eating the grass, and surprisingly they get along great with the horses so far. I mean, I've never seen them together, but I hadn't seen one kicked or anything, so I guess they are fine. But that's another thing. If you ride horses, this mousse if you ride horses, this mousse is Not Your Mother's brand, and it's called Whip It Up Cream Styling Mousse for all hair types. Builds body, thickens strands, tames freeze, and is non-sticky. Anyway, if you ride horses, you need to wear a helmet. It comes out looking like whipped cream. Doop doop a dollop of... That's not whipped cream. So, but it smells good. Anyway, you need to wear a helmet. That is something that I don't like. Because, like I said, I don't like helmets. But I also did not like having a brain injury. And I don't like the effects that I still have to deal with because of a brain injury. You know, my hair might not be wet enough anymore for this. I don't know if it's going into my hair or if it's just all white. It's going into my hair. Okay. My hair's just barely damp. I meant to do it as soon as I started the video because I hadn't been out of the shower long. Not that y'all needed to know that. But yeah. So, whoo! I didn't get the tangles out of my hair before I put mousse in. And that's not a brain injury moment. That is just typical Marty Manning moment. And no, I'm not kin to the football player Mannings. If I am, it's way off. That they don't know that I exist. But a kind of cool story is my parents lived in Louisiana before I was born. And my mama or my daddy or both would sometimes take my two older sisters to a McDonald's up in Louisiana, and they would see Mr. Archie Manning take his boys in for Happy Meals or whatever. So that's kind of cool. They ate at the same McDonald's. Not that it matters. They're people. They put on their pants one pants leg at a time, just like everybody else. I mean, it'd be cool to meet them because we share the same last name, and they are good football players, but like I said, they're just people. I've never really been one to worship celebrities. I'm a fan of a few celebrities. That's my boy. He's fixed to call me out on that story, huh? I'm a fan of celebrities. He thinks that I worship a celebrity, but I don't. I'm a fan of Tim Tebow because I like what he stands for. Do you like Tim Tebow? It's funny. You're funny. I love you. Mwah. He says, I love you too, but why are you talking to yourself? Look, that's mousse. You can't lick it. But see, it goes in my hair like this. He always has to check out something new that I use. I don't know if that's just the curiosity in him, if that's the service dog in him, or what, but him's curious. He's one of my best friends. Are you my best friend? Yeah. Look at that face. Bama. Did I turn your air off? Did you want me to turn the air back on? I have this little air purifier in my room because sometimes, alright, where's the lid for this? Bama, do you know where? Oh, here it is. Because sometimes I get hot, and for one, it's called living in the South, and two, it's called medicine that makes you hot. But you know, I may not need my glasses to put my hair back now that I put mousse in my hair. I guess just kind of holding it back on its own. It's not the best smelling stuff. It smells good, but it's not the best smelling stuff. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. If you have a brain injury, I want you to know you're not alone, like I've already said. And you're going to get through it. I know that there's days when it looks like you won't. But just keep pushing it. Sometimes there will be days when it takes every ounce of energy just to get up and brush your teeth. It's okay. Brush your teeth and go back to bed. It's a process. You're healing. Your brain, when it has a problem, it makes your whole body tired because your brain controls your body. So don't be ashamed if all you do in a day is take a shower and go back and lay down. At least you did something. And then every day, little by little, do what you can. It's like working out. You don't start off with the heaviest weight in the weight room. I mean, you could try, but you'd injure yourself worse. It's like with a brain injury. You can't start off trying to do things back to normal, full speed, like you did before your brain injury. You have to take baby steps, and I hated hearing it. I hated hearing people tell me baby steps. I hated it when my doctor and my therapist and my parents would tell me baby steps. When my sisters would tell me baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. I hated hearing that because, for one, I'm my own worst enemy. 2, I'm very competitive, and I wanted to push my limits. And you can't push your limits like you may want to when you have a brain injury. You need to try at a healthy pace. And what I mean by that is, back to the weight room. You start lifting weights that are the least heaviest to begin with. So it's a process, even with a brain injury. Start small. Build up your strength. Build up your muscles, your brain muscles again. Slow. Take it easy. You're not in a race. It's not to see who can heal their brain first. It's to heal your brain properly and get back to the lifestyle that you want to live. And you can't do that rushing through it like you're on a mad dash to win a race. You have to go slow. So each day, do a little bit here and a little bit there. And before you know it, you'll build up your strength that you can do a little bit more. And then the more you keep doing that, you'll build up your strength and you can do a little bit more. And a little bit more. And a little bit more. Until one day you find yourself, or I found myself, being able to help my daddy put up a horse pen. So it's all about, and I had to take breaks. When you feel yourself getting tired, take a break. That is still something that I struggle with today. And my parents will tell me, Marty, it's break time. My sisters will tell me, don't overdo it. My dog, like if I'm working my business and I've been at it for hours without a break, he'll come in there and he'll tell me it's time to quit. And how does he tell me it's time to quit? Being a service dog, he picks up on how I'm feeling. I don't know the right words to say to explain that, but he picks up on things. And if he knows, he can sense that I'm getting tired, and he'll come or lay his head down on me and waggle his tail or wiggle his tail to get my attention, to tell me it's time to quit. Alright, I'm stubborn. And I've already said I'm a competitor, and I'm my own worst enemy. I compete with myself. So there are times, more than not, that I will ignore the signs that I need to take a break because I'm trying to push my limits faster than I should, and I'll get tired and go into a panic or an anxiety or a mild seizure or something, and by that time it's too late to quit before that starts. You just quit. But take it slow. Take it day by day. Okay? Rome wasn't built in a day. I know, you hear that a lot, but it's okay to go slow. You need to go slow so you can build those brain muscles back up the way they need to be. So it's okay to go slow. And one day, I promise you, you will find yourself doing things that a few years ago you thought, oh my goodness, I didn't think I'd ever do this again, but look, I'm doing it. I mean, even for myself, I'm doing things this month that last month I couldn't have done, or the month before I couldn't have done. And it's a healing process, y'all. And you've got to give yourself time to heal. You really, really do. Just like if it was something like an arm or a leg broke, you'd have to give it time to heal. You have to give your brain time to heal. And if you're not the one with the brain injury, but you're a friend or a relative and somebody has a brain injury, do not make them feel bad because of how long it's taken for them to recover. Everybody's different. Every injury is different. I've had people tell me, you still got a brain injury after all this time? Yes, unfortunately. I want it to go away more than you do. But don't take offense to that. if you've heard those words. Just chalk it up to they don't know any better. But if you are someone who has thought that towards a friend or a family member, don't ever tell them that. That's like kicking them when they're already down. So, I wet my lips so I can exfoliate them. I can exfoliate them. You want to smell? Bama likes to smell things. Why are you whining at me? Now you're just staring at me. I like this stuff. Are the horses still in the pen? They are? Okay. He was looking out the window and you can see the horses because, like I said, there's a grass pasture there. So I was making sure. So funny. He'll tell on them if they're out. But on the flip side of that, it wasn't too long ago, our neighbors across the road, they had a female dog, and she used to come over to the house, and I guess they pinned her up or something to keep her from doing that. Well, Bama, if the gate wasn't closed to our driveway, he would go over there and visit her. Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. And I could go out the door and I'd ask Shiloh or Sunshine, my two oldest horses, I'd say, "Where's Bama?" And they would look in the direction of where he went. But they've done that since living in Mississippi. We had a Rottweiler, or my nephew had a Rottweiler, and I had a Labrador, and if they had run off or somewhere to the woods, you could ask them, "Where did those dogs go?" And they would look in the direction that my dogs had gone. It was so funny. So these earrings that I'm putting on, I made them. They are green ribbon charms for TBI awareness. And I'm sure you know, but just in case, TBI is the abbreviation for traumatic brain injury. And I thought that would match my shirt well today. I haven't even started putting my makeup on good and I'm already putting on my earrings. How do you like that now? Yeah. Okay, I'm missing the hole to my ear all together here. What is it, boo-boo? You want up here? Are you hungry? You want some food? I'm having trouble getting this one in. The hole's right there. Isn't it? Ow! That was not the hole. I don't understand. There's the hole. Well. I'm getting frustrated with this earring, which brings me to another point. Throughout your healing of the brain injury, you're going to get frustrated. There will be times when just frustration seems to seep out of you. Like, I mean, just seems to seep out of you. Don't get discouraged. It's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. I promise you. So, the nail polish I'm wearing in All About Green I've been wearing it for days, reapplying it to my fingernails. It's Granny Smith Apple is the color, number 506, and it is the Crayola and Sally Hansen collaboration Insta Dry. It looks like that. I do need to reapply it to my nails because the tips are growing, so there's some white there. My dog was whining because he wanted the air back on, so if you hear the air, that is why. I turned it back on and he quit whining. He is spoiled, but I spoiled him. And I've enjoyed every minute of spoiling him. He stays with me pretty much 24/7 unless I leave him home while I'm going somewhere, because I don't need him with me all the time as a service dog. There was a time he went with me pretty often, but because I'm healing, there are more days where I feel like I can conquer the world without taking him with me, and then there are days I take him with me because I'm feeling more vulnerable. Like usually it's when I've had more brain injury attacks, or not even brain injury attacks, what am I trying to call them? Not relapses. Setbacks. That's what I'm trying to say. And I apologize for looking down. I wasn't being rude. I was painting my toenails green to match my fingernails. They were blue, but they're not blue no more. I took it off. Is there something I can do for you? I think he may be hungry, so let me open my bedroom door because I'm in my room filming and I have the door shut. So let me see. Alrighty, I'm back. I think he was hungry. He didn't have to go outside. He wanted his food, which is like, there's a little hallway from my bedroom to my craft room. Like, there's a little bitty hallway, and in that little hallway, my door needs some WD-40. In my little hallway, he has his food and water dish, and he was hungry. He wanted to eat. Another thing with traumatic brain injuries, drinking that caffeine just made me think about it. And caffeine is not always good for a traumatic brain injury. In moderation, maybe. There was a time when I did not use it in moderation because before my brain injury, I was a pharmacy technician, and I drank Dr. Pepper like it was going out of style because I needed the caffeine to keep me going, or so I thought. And so I just kept drinking a lot of caffeine after the brain injury, and I would get headaches, like really bad headaches. And that's part of having a brain injury, you're going to get headaches, but I was making them worse by drinking so much caffeine. So I backed off severely on the caffeine. Like, I went from drinking, I could drink 4 to 6 bottles a day. That's not good. Like this size, 12 ounces. And when I stopped drinking so much caffeine, the headaches were just regular. I stopped making the headaches worse, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I also started losing more weight too. So when we got off of a certain medication and I cut back on Dr. Pepper or soft drink, the weight started going away. And that's another thing, that's another issue I want to point out. If you have a traumatic brain injury and you've gained weight, do not feel bad. It will go back down. I know you're thinking, some people will be like, well, you need to eat less, or you're eating too much. I went days where I would hardly eat, and still there's sometimes I hardly eat. And that's not a good thing, I know, but I'm keeping it real. And I was still gaining weight. And the doctor took me off a couple medications because I didn't need it anymore. And one of the side effects for that medication was weight gain. And he told me that, I guess just the body chemistry, my body or whatever, that I had gained more weight on that medication faster than anybody he'd ever seen. Like, gee, thanks, doc. But I needed the medication at the time. But we got off of it and went to a different one for the same issue, and just depression. And the weight just started going down. And also, let me tell you something. When you have a brain injury, it's normal not to be as active as you are. Like, I was on the go 24/7 before my brain injury. I worked in a pharmacy, for Pete's sake. You didn't get to sit down long. When I wasn't working pharmacy, I was shopping or hanging out with friends or something. Like, every day when I come home from work, if I'd get home before dark in the winter, I'd go outside and I'd shoot hoops for hours. I'd put on my MP3 player and I would just shoot hoops, basketball hoops, for hours as exercise. I say hours, 1 or 2 hours. And during the summertime, when, or the spring and summer, when the weather, or not the weather, brain injury moment, when the days got longer, if I got off work at like 6 o'clock, it'd still be a little daylight. So I'd go outside and I would shoot hoops until dark. That was my exercise. And it worked. Now, before that, I had quit this not long, let's see. I don't know how long before my brain injury that I had quit this, for different reasons. I just got busy and got out of the routine of it. But before that, I would shoot hoops, like I said, but I would also come home every other day and do sit-ups, and I'd work myself up. I had worked myself up to 150 sit-ups every day. And you say, well, that's not a lot. Well, for me, that was a lot because I'm not one that likes to stick to a specific exercise routine. As I'm getting older, maybe, but at the time, I wasn't one that liked to stick to something like that. Like, I would rather move around or something like that. But so I was proud of myself for that. Before that, before we moved, that was when we lived in Mississippi. Before that, we lived in Alabama. Actually, both places we lived in Alabama. In Castleberry and then in Excel. I would ride my bicycle up and down the dirt road. And then when we moved to Excel, I would ride my bicycle up and down the dirt road several times every day. And then I would walk my dog up and down the dirt road several times every day. So that was my exercise. And then I'd still play hoops with my nephew, or shoot hoops with my nephew. And so that was my exercise. Walking, bicycling, shooting hoops, and then I added sit-ups to that. And so I was in, I wouldn't say I was in like, I want to be a model shape, but I was healthy. I was in good shape. I was at a weight that I liked, and then the brain injury hit me, literally. And all the different medications and the not moving around and everything just added on pounds. And I got the biggest I had ever been in my life. In fact, I'll tell you. I'm not ashamed to tell you. There was a time I was 198 pounds. Yeah. That was detrimentally disturbing to me. And I cried about it so many times. But I couldn't exercise because it would cause me to pass out. Like, it caused my brain to feel like I was fixing to pass out. I wasn't at the point where I could do that yet. And of course my doctor and my parents, they tell me it's medicine. It's medicine that makes you balloon up. Because like my face or my arms, I could, well, you couldn't see that bone there, but like I could touch it and it was fluid. You know how when you have fluid, you can touch it and it leaves an indentation for a while. I was fluid. My stomach had fluid, my face had fluid, everywhere was fluid, and it was from medication. And I had ballooned up to 198 pounds, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, you help me, because I want this gone. And so, I started drinking more water, and like I can drink several bottles of water a day. And I cut back on soft drink. And then I really started seeing an improvement when the doctor took me off the medication that was causing the weight gain to begin with. Why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because if you gain weight from having a brain injury because of the medication you're on and because of the fact you can't exercise and move around like you want to, do not get discouraged. Listen to me. You're still beautiful. You're still handsome. And it's going to be okay. You can get back down to your desired weight. Look at me. I mean, I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but this time last year, I was so much bigger than I am. Since August, September, maybe, somewhere around that time frame, I've lost almost 50 pounds. Thank you, Jesus. And I'm feeling wonderful. And I still have more to go. I still have a little more to go. But it's a process, y'all. And it's gonna take time. Don't beat yourself up. I am living testimony that it's going to get better. I promise you, it is going to get better. And when you let Jesus in and let him take the reins and let him help you through the brain injury, it makes the healing and the getting better so much easier and so much sweeter, because then you're not fighting alone. You have Jesus with you. And he fights our battles for us. And we have verses to lean on. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. We have the whole armor of God to put on. I mean, Jesus said that he knows the plans and the thoughts for us, that he thinks towards us. Thoughts of peace and not of evil. To give us a future and a hope. He wants you to have a future and a hope. He's got big plans for you. Traumatic brain injury ain't nothing. I mean, if Jesus can part the Red Sea, he turned water into wine. He healed Peter's ear when it was cut off. I mean, the man rose from the dead because he's God. He's Jesus. He can do anything. And he can help you through that brain injury. And I'm not telling you something that I don't know. I know what I'm talking about. Because I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor. I'm a survivor. Because of Jesus. And he helps me every day. He's helped me every step of the way. And he continues to help me. And that little bitty, tiny bit that I'm still going through is nothing compared to what I've been through. And I can see the daylight. I can see me getting over it. What looked like a mountain, I've climbed that mountain. Now it's just little bitty hills. Little bitty stepping stones. Because the traumatic brain injury isn't staying, in Jesus' name. I believe in miracles. I am a miracle. I'm a walking, talking, breathing miracle. And I'll share that in my testimony video. But I believe in miracles. Believe in miracles. Believe that God's got you. Believe that he can heal. Because he did when he died on the cross for our sins. He didn't just die for our sins. He died for our healings too. And the traumatic brain injury that you're facing, he wants to help you through it. He created your brain, y'all. He can put it back together the way it's supposed to be. You don't have to live with the traumatic brain injury the rest of your life. And even if you do live with the symptoms the rest of your life, I sound like I'm contradicting myself. I'm not. There's some people that do. Does it mean God's not God? No, God still is God. Sometimes our faith just has to grow until we trust Him to take it completely away. Because sometimes we keep taking it back from Him. But even if your symptoms last longer than you want them to, even if you go 10, 20 years and you still have symptoms every once in a while, at least it's every once in a while. At least it's not every day like it was or like it is. Whatever your case may be. For me, I don't have it every day anymore. Thank you, Jesus. And He wants to help you like He's helped me. And I know He can, because He's no respecter of persons. The same God that created me and has helped me and healed me, is the same God that created you and wants to help you through the brain injury that you're going through. March, Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness. I still hadn't done my makeup. Repeat after me. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Brainline put another quote up that said, a brain injury is thinking with speed bumps. Can you relate? I can. Slurring speech, forgetting words, stumbling or falling down does not necessarily mean you're drunk. If you don't know me, please don't judge me. This was written by Kelly, a brain injury survivor. Those things happen sometime in brain injuries. I can attest to that. And I wasn't drunk, it was just a brain injury. I'm a brain injury survivor. I know pain, I know fear, I know tears, I know loneliness, I know confusion, I know the frustration, I know the loss of friends, I know financial insecurity, I know the loss of self, and I know all these things, and I survived them. We are not called survivors by chance, and that is very true. This was by TBI, Hope, and Inspiration.com. We are not survivors by chance. We're survivors because we're fighters. Fight, baby, fight. You got this. You have got this. Let me give you some brain injury awareness facts here. Also, I want you to know you're not your illness. You're not your traumatic brain injury. A traumatic brain injury is what you're going through. You are still you. You're still in there. Fight until you find you, because you're still there. And I can say that because I've been there. I know what it's like to wonder, where am I? I was right there the whole time. According to the TBI awareness campaign, 795,000 individuals sustain an acquired brain injury each year. There are different types of brain injuries, including the ABA, or acquired brain injury, and a TBI, or traumatic brain injury. I had a traumatic brain injury and was diagnosed with post-concussive syndrome. 3.1 million children and adults in the U.S. live with a lifelong disability, and the estimated 1.1 million have a disability due to a stroke, which can also be brain injury, which is also brain injury related. TBI is a contributing factor to a third, 30.5% of all injury-related deaths in the United States. 75% of brain injuries are caused from concussions. So if you think you have a concussion, or you think someone you know has a concussion, do not treat it lightly. Get help. Help that person. 1.7 million people sustain a TBI annually. Children aged 0 to 4 years older, adolescents, 15 to 19 years, and adults age 65 years and older are most likely to sustain a TBI. 52,000 of those sufferers die from TBIs. Get help. Now I'm not saying you're gonna die from it. You die from it when you don't get help, and you don't help yourself, and you don't follow the doctor's orders. So it's important to follow the doctor's orders, get help, so that you can live, and through Christ you can live. 275,000 are hospitalized due to a TBI. Almost 500,000 emergency department visits for TBIs are made annually to children aged 0 to 14 years. Brain injury awareness. Recovery from a brain injury would seem a learned Recovering from a brain injury would seem eternal. Improvement would occur at a self-improvement is going to occur at a snail's pace. If anyone believes his TBI would be a simple healing like breaking a leg, they need to think again. That was Lee and Bob Woodruff on Bob's recovery from a TBI. So it's a slow process, but there's hope. And you're going to get through this. You're not what happened to you. You're who you choose to become because of what happened to you. You can wallow in self-pity and destruction and choose to milk it, or you can recover from it. And like I said, I can testify. You can recover from it. You can recover from it. I love this quote. Never give up on someone with a mental illness. When I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. And that's by someone called Shannon L. Elder. And that is very, very true. Also, a brain injury can affect different parts of the brain, and this is important for anybody to know. Don't be surprised if somebody with a brain injury can write but can't read, can speak but can't listen, looks fine but seems changed. Do your homework. Information could be a shortcoming. So do your homework and research. Don't just knock somebody. Again, that quote, never give up on somebody with a mental illness. When I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. I love, love, love that. Love that. The next time you're tempted to imply that somebody is making excuses, understand that most TBI survivors will be left with a combination of these symptoms: short-term memory loss, trouble focusing our attention, neurofatigue, which is running out of energy, dizziness and balance issues, cognitive deficiency, in other words, processing things slower than before, aphasia, which is trouble recalling or understanding words, anxiety about the simplest things, and depression. Been through it all, still go through a lot of it on a daily basis. But I'm a survivor, and I'm getting better every day. This other one, sometimes a TBI survivor is not able to handle overstimulation. In other words, people and noises. That's why sometimes if you're in a crowd and or if I'm in a crowd and it bothers me, I have to go out to the vehicle sometimes. Anxiety about the slightest things, and sometimes chronic pain and panic attacks, and dissociation. What is dissociation? I went through dissociation in the beginning, now not so much, but dissociation is a self-defense mechanism that the brain uses when it cannot handle the current situation or when it is attempting to process something painful. When people dissociate, they begin to feel unreal. Sometimes they feel as though they are watching themselves go through their day-to-day activities. Other times, it's an entirely eerie feeling as if their body does not belong to them. That's a traumatic brain injury side effect, and I went through it, and let me tell you, it ain't fun. But you can get through it. You can get through it. You can get through it. Sometimes a TBI person will go through hypervigilance, which is constant scanning of the environment for possible threats, constantly tense and on guard, accompanied by a state of increased anxiety which causes an exhaustion. A person experiencing these symptoms usually have post-traumatic stress disorder from a traumatic brain injury. I have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. A person experiencing these symptoms will have an enhanced state of sensory sensitivity accompanied by exaggerated behaviors. They will be anxious, tense, and on guard as they constantly scan their environment for anything that is a reminder of a threat or trauma. The individual remains on high alert in order to detect potential sources of danger. Hypervigilance is also accompanied by an exaggerated startled response and increased anxiety, which can cause exhaustion. So look, when you go through a traumatic brain injury, there's a lot you go through. On top of being diagnosed with PTSD, if you want to read more quotes and statistics on a brain injury, I have a board on my Pinterest account. You can go to pinterest.com/MardiRobyn, and I have a board that's called Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness, and on it is a lot of facts and information that might help you. In fact, I'll link it below in the comments if you'd like to visit it. And the reason is because I want, for one, if you have a brain injury, I want you to know you're not alone. I want you to be educated on what you're going through, and those that don't have a brain injury, I want to raise awareness on traumatic brain injury so that you're not ignorant and you don't say something stupid to somebody that does have a brain injury. Also, I want to say this, and this goes for any type of dog. When you see somebody that has a service dog in a store, be nice. A year or so ago, I had my service dog, Bama, in the store with me, and we were standing there, my mom and I was standing there talking to one of my cousins. He's an adult, he's married, he's got kids, and this young couple came up and they were asking about the dog and different things, and the young guy wanted to pet him. Well, first, you're not supposed to pet service dogs. I've kind of been lenient with it depending on the person and how I feel, the vibe I get. I won't even say vibe. The prick of the Holy Spirit is what I listen to when somebody wants to pet my dog. Like, there was an older lady in a wheelchair who wanted to pet my dog. Of course I'm going to let her pet my dog. there was a 4-year, I think her mama said she was 3 or 4. She saw the dog and she didn't know any better, and she runs up to him and gives him a hug. Like, she leaves her mama at the store, and her mama's trying to say, no, come back. And by that time she gets to Bama and she gives her a hug, and it was the sweetest thing. It melted my heart. It reminded me of my niece Kaylee. But that's okay. That's fine. What I'm wanting to tell you this is the incident that happened while I was in Walmart. This kid, or this guy who was probably late teens, he wanted to pet my dog. And he claimed that he knew about service dogs, that his dad had been in the military. And I didn't want him touching my dog. I had that feeling, I just don't want you touching my dog. But he reached out his hand to try to pet Bama. And Bama backed up. He sensed there was something not right. And Bama's trying to protect me. And he's backing me up, and I'm almost backed up completely to my cousin who is behind me, and he wasn't moving because he's a protective cousin. Like, he wasn't moving at all. And Bama's trying to back away from the guy but keep me safe at the same time, and the guy grabs him by the nose like this. Well, let's see. Let's pretend this is Bama. The guy goes like that to pet him. And before I could say something, my mama said something. That bothered me. Thankfully, it didn't bother me like it would some. What if it was the first day that somebody with a serious issue, worse than what I was going through, had their dog in the store, and that idiot, Lord forgive me, that person had behaved like an idiot? That could traumatize them to where all the work that they've done to get to the store is undone, and they have to go through processes all over again. What if it had been a blind person and you do that to their dog? They don't know what's going on. When you see a service dog, I don't care what situation it is. I don't care what illness they have. First of all, it's none of your business. It's rude to go, well, what's wrong with you? Why do you have a service dog? That's rude. I'm just going to say that's rude. I'm a little bit more tolerant, I'll tell you. But some people don't want to talk about why they have to have a service dog. If you see a service dog, if they say it's okay to pet them, pet them. Do not abuse that dog. Do not grab that dog. Do not. There's been one person, he went by and tried to go roof roof at my dog to get my dog startled, and Bama just ignored him. Don't do that. You don't know what the person with the service dog is going through. You don't know. So don't be a jerk. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. But like I said, this video is all about green to raise awareness for traumatic brain injuries. And that can happen. You can have a brain injury from infancy to the time brain injuries can happen to people from infancy to 100 years or however. A brain injury is no respecter of persons. It does not discriminate based on your age. So be careful. Make sure your kids ride their bicycle with the helmet. Make sure they ride a horse wearing a helmet. If they ride dirt bikes, four-wheelers, UTVs, crotch rockets, whatever, wear a helmet, please. Your brain is important. You need your brain. So wear a helmet. Safety first. I'm a safety man's daughter. Safety was not my first concern when getting on a dirt bike. My concern was, I want to ride a dirt bike. What I mean by a safety man's daughter is he teaches classes for the oil field. And he teaches safety classes and danger prevention, that sort of thing. So, let's go with a green look. Now that I've rambled on and on, I just wanted to get that out of the way. Sort of. Not out of the way. I want to talk to y'all about it. Y'all, this is not traumatic brain injury related. This is just weird dream related. But, I dreamed that, I want to say it was last night. I dreamed I went out in public and I had a full mustache going on right here. It wasn't like a guy's mustache, but it was all hairy, and I'd been walking around with it for days without even knowing it, and I'm thinking, oh, in my dream. That's another thing, with a traumatic brain injury, sometimes you're going to have flashback dreams. It's okay. If you wake up hollering and screaming, and I've done that before, I know what it's like to want to kick yourself for doing it. Don't beat yourself up. It's all part of the process. And, whew, that's cold. You'll heal from it. Also, if you have a brain injury, or someone you know has a brain injury, and suddenly smells bother them, don't feel bad about it. And don't belittle the person if the smells bother them. Don't be like, well, they used to not bother you, you're just being picky. Don't do that. When you have a brain injury, it knocks everything out of order. Okay? My brain injury, I had an increased hypersensitivity. So I could hear things that other people could not hear. And like my favorite perfume, one of my favorite perfumes, I could not wear after my brain injury for a long time because it would give me a headache. And I didn't understand why. And it was explained to me because you have a hypersensitivity to things that you didn't before. Like, in other words, my smell had increased, my ear hearing had increased, and it would cause headaches. There was a while I couldn't wear a lot of perfumes. Some lotions and shampoos, they would still trigger things, and so you have to be careful. And if that's you, don't feel bad. It's okay. You're gonna get through it. I promise. You are going to get through it. And if you have a brain injury and you want someone to talk to, feel free to email me, contact me on social media. I'll be happy to talk with you because I've been there. And even though my recovery is almost, I can see it, almost complete, I'm still happy to talk to you. If you do not have a brain injury, but you know somebody that does, and you want to talk to understand it better, contact me. I'm happy to talk with you. I will say, pray about getting counseling if you have a brain injury. If you know somebody with a brain injury and you need more information on how to handle it, there are brain injury counselors. I had one and she helped me. So talk to your doctor about a brain injury therapist, counselor. They're called. She was a counselor and a therapist, if that makes sense, for brain injuries. So talk to your doctor. They can help you go through it, and they can also help you, like, educate you to know how to handle the person that you're helping get through the brain injury. And there's no shame in going to a counselor or a therapist. For a long time I was against it because of how it would look, I thought. And that was just pure ignorance and silliness on my part. So definitely go and get help if you need help. There's no shame in it. Also, with a brain injury, everybody's brain injury is different. You may have two people with a brain injury, and both of them are different. So what I'm trying to say is, two brain injuries may not be exactly alike. That's just, the brain is so complex. I say this because I want you to know, if you have to go through, I'm going to use Feisty. This is Tarte, and it's this color. If you have to go through speech therapy, don't feel bad at all. I went through speech therapy, and I wished I had gone through it sooner. I went through it in 2015. Not only did it regain my confidence, it helped me be able to come out of my shell and talk more. I would have a lot of cognitive issues where I'd go to say something and I'd freeze. Sometimes I still do that, not as bad as I did before the speech therapy. My speech therapist was incredible. She was a Christian lady. She understood. She worked with stroke patients and a lot of other different patients. I mean, she's excellent at her job. And she helped me. Like the work that we did, and she would have me talk. I mean, she was a speech therapist, but it was almost like she was a counselor at the same time, because she'd have me talk about my experience. And just getting me talking helped. But then so did the exercises that I had to do. It helped the cognitive issues that I was having with my brain. So if you need a speech therapist, talk to your doctor. Don't be ashamed. They want to help you get better. And don't worry about what people think. The only thing that matters is getting better. What is best for you to get you better. That's what matters. So if you need speech therapy, go to speech therapy. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. If it helps you, it helps you. And it helped me. And I would go back again. I mean, if I could go, if I could, and I still have problems sometimes, but it was way worse than what you just saw. If I could go back in time, I started to say if I could go back in time, I would go sooner to her, but I didn't know about her then, and I think I got to her when I needed to get to her. So we'll scratch what I was fixing to say, but don't be ashamed if you need speech therapy. There's no shame in it whatsoever. If it helps you, that is a plus. Also, if you're a family member or a friend and they tell you, the person with the TBI tells you they're going to go to speech therapy, do not ridicule them for it. Nobody did me, thank the Lord, that I know of. Don't ridicule them for it. Support them, because they're having issues you know nothing about. You may see it, you may not see it. But if they're having speech trouble and cognitive issues, like if they have trouble getting words out, speech therapy is a good idea. Speech therapy is not just for stroke patients or people that have lisps or people who don't develop their speech at the right age or whatever. Speech therapy goes way beyond just what you would normally think. So if they need speech therapy, support them. And I don't mean to sound bossy, I'm just trying to raise awareness, and I want to help you understand what your loved one is going through. And I want to help you understand what you're going through. I just want to help. want to share my experience. I want to share my testimony so that y'all can see God's mercy and grace and His goodness and what He can do. He can take a traumatic brain injury and He can heal it. He can put the pieces back together. There's a song by Jason Crabb, and it's called Love is Stronger. And the first day I heard it, I'm like, oh my goodness, this song sounds like it was written just for me and what I was going through. But part of it, the chorus is actually the verse goes, you went down one of those roads nobody should have to go. Life sure got real fast. You couldn't see your way out. Your world was under a cloud. All you could feel was helpless. You didn't think you could do it, oh, but you got through it. You kept faith when you didn't have a prayer, found hope when it wasn't even there. Up against the impossible, you just wouldn't back down. You kept fighting, that heavy cross you carry ain't weighing you down any longer. Life is tough, but love is stronger. Bama likes to sing with me. You're finally facing the sun. Your brighter days have begun. Look at you now. You're soaking them in. You're smiling, you're laughing, you're happy, you're living. Every moment surrounded by all the beautiful reasons why. You kept faith when you didn't have a prayer. You found hope when it wasn't even there. Up against the impossible, you just wouldn't back down. You kept fighting, that heavy cross you carried ain't weighing you down any longer. Life is tough, it's so tough, but His love is stronger. That song has helped me so much, along with a lot of other songs. My Bama was singing with me, by the way. I've taught him to try to sing with me when I'm singing, and I do apologize for being off key. I'm a little bit on the sinusy side, and that didn't come out in perfect key like it should have, but hey, I'm human. It happens that way sometimes. But that's the whole purpose of me sharing that, was to let you know God's love is stronger and He can see you through. He's fighting this fight and this battle with you, and I know that because He is with me, and He will with you, because He is no respecter of persons, and you can get through this traumatic brain injury. And if you have a loved one who has a traumatic brain injury, don't give up on them. They're going to get through it. Help them. Be there for them. I know it's got to be tough. I know it's got to be tough. Watching them go through it has got to be tough. I've watched my parents watch me go through it, and I know it's not easy for them. But they've been troopers. They've been like my rock. They've been there for me. When nobody else was, they were there. Them and my sisters and my nephews. I don't know, without Jesus and without my parents, I wouldn't have gotten as far as I am today. And my doctor and my speech therapist and my therapist. But mainly, Jesus and my parents. The love and the support of parents through a traumatic brain injury, or maybe you don't have your parents. Maybe you're not the person's parent. Maybe you're their guardian, whether it be sister, aunt, grandma, whoever. Your support makes the world a difference in the healing of somebody that has a traumatic brain injury. I know. I know. Read books on it. That'll help. There's a lot more resources out there for traumatic brain injuries than there were when I was diagnosed with mine in 2012. So, you look for that. I got my camouflage on because I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor. And then these I made in honor of traumatic brain injury. The ribbon, of course, but the shoe just reminds me to keep going. And it's got green on it, so I thought that was fitting. And what else? Oh, and I have this ring that my brother-in-law made me. So I'm going to do a real plug real quick. If you want a ring like this in this color or another color, let me know and I can get in touch with my brother-in-law and he can get in touch with you or however it goes, and we can get that started. He can make you one for a price, of course. So I'm going to use the color Money Bags because it's green. Oh, my camera battery's going dead on me. Ooh, boy, did I mess up my makeup. Where is my beauty blender so I can fix this? And this is from the Chocolate Gold Too Faced palette, in case you wonder. And I am putting on extra because I got videos to do and I don't want to have to reapply a lot of makeup. And then I have this. It's called Super Shocked and it's by ColourPop. I'm going to use just a little bit because it is sparkly. Very, very sparkly. I'm trying to hurry because my camera is about dead. But if it dies on me, it is okay. I have a backup. Doesn't want to stick real good. I don't know why. Do you know why, Bama? says it's still recording. I hope it is. That'll be funny. So since my battery is about dead on my camera, I'm going to go ahead and stop it and switch cameras. That way we won't miss anything. Hey, so right as I was saying in the other videos, or on the camera, I was saying I was going to switch cameras real quick so that I didn't lose footage or anything, but right as I was saying that, my camera died, so I had to change cameras real quick, but that is not any problem. On the top of my eyes, I'm going to put that white color, which is called Rolling in the Dough. It's kind of fitting for the green money bags I have on. This look would have been cool for St. Patrick's Day too, which I had meant to do a St. Patrick's Day makeup look, and time Sunday just got away from me and I never did it. Time wasn't on my side. Not Sunday anyway. I have a little bit of green down here that I can't seem to get rid of, so I put some foundation on my finger, and there's that beauty blender. Here it is. Problem 6. So I have a whole lot more I'd love to share about traumatic brain injuries, and I'm going to, and like I said, I am going to do video about my traumatic brain injury experience. It's going to be very personal. I don't know how long it'll be, so it may be in 2 parts, but I am going to do it. This is Lip Smacker's Medicated Eucalyptus Mint. It's green, so that's why I'm putting it on. Well, it's not green, but the lid is green, and my lips are kind of chapped. And since this is all about green, why not? Okay, we're almost through. I need to do my eyebrows. I thought I took it out already, but I guess I didn't. I don't see it. Did I put it up? It's not in here. I may have accidentally picked it up with my makeup brushes. I don't know what I did with it. Did I drop it? No? Is this thing still filming? Yes. I used the mirror to make sure. Well, oh, here it is. My brow cookie. That's what it's called. Bama, you want up here? You can get on the bed with me. He says, no, I want you to be through with this. He's very possessive. He likes my full attention. But since I spoiled him that way, I don't mind. He's looking out the window. He heard a truck go by. We live out in the country, but you can still hear the vehicles go by on this red dirt road. I love red dirt roads. But But yes, back to the purpose of this video. I think traumatic brain injury awareness is very important, and I'm going to make people aware of that as much as I can. Not just because I had a traumatic brain injury. Actually, I guess because I did have a traumatic brain injury, and I had to be educated on what it was and what I was going through, and so did the people around me. Yeah, it is because I had a traumatic brain injury that I want to educate others, because I feel it's important that people know how important it is to protect your brain. Whether you're an athlete, or just, I started to say a regular person. There's no such thing as a regular person. We're all uniquely created by God. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. The Bible says, marvelous are His works, and our soul knows it right well. That's in Psalms. You don't have to be an athlete to worry about a traumatic brain injury. And I don't want you to worry about a traumatic brain injury. I just want you to educate yourself. If you fall and hit your head, go to the doctor. Make sure you don't have a concussion. If your child falls and hits their head, take them to the doctor. Make sure they don't have a concussion. Just be aware. When you're riding a horse, wear a helmet. Bicycle, wear a helmet. Playing football, wear a helmet. If you're riding a four-wheeler, UTV, whatever it is, wear a helmet. Now, that's something that I'm bad at. I'll still ride the UTV and the four-wheeler without a helmet. Apparently, I didn't learn my lesson too well. But, I need to start doing that. Now, when I get on a horse, I will wear a helmet. So, just protect your head. And if you have had a traumatic brain injury and you've recovered from it, still keep protecting your head, because sometimes hitting your head after a traumatic brain injury can cause a relapse. I kind of had a relapse a couple years ago. It wasn't bad, thank the Lord, but we were camping out in an RV while we were cleaning out our land. We were still living in Mississippi, but when we'd come to Alabama, we'd camp out in an RV while we were having the land cleaned off before we put a place here. And I slept on it was a motorhome, really, a motorhome RV. I slept out on a pull-out sofa. It pulled out to a full-size bed. And I had a puppy, a Weimaraner. And I raised her till she was a year old and gave her to my brother, or my nephew. I call him my brother. My parents raised him, so he's like my brother. We call each other brother and sister. But I raised her till she was a year old, and then gave her to him. But she was not that old. She was probably 12 weeks old, maybe. And I had set her kennel in the captain's chair, the chair that somebody would sit in if they're driving. And I had swung the chair around to where it was facing me instead of facing, the window part. And I woke up that morning to a kennel falling on top of my head. She had been moving around trying to let me know she had to go to the bathroom, and I wasn't waking up quick enough. And when she moved around, she didn't mean to, the kennel tilted, and the tip of it and all of her weight came down on my head. And I had a problem for a little bit, but thank the Lord it did not last long. It was actually kind of funny when it happened after I got over the shock of being woke up that way. But yes, protect your heads. I know I'm reiterating over and over and over the importance of protecting your head, but it really is important, and I want you to know that. It's important. If you have a brain injury, you're important. What you're going through is important. You're not alone at all. It may feel like it some days, And there'll be some days where all you do is cry, and that's okay. And if you have a brain injury and you're a man and you cry, honey, don't feel bad. It's okay for men to cry too. Sometimes you need to. God made us to cry. I mean, if He didn't want us to cry every once in a while, He wouldn't have given us the ability to do so. That's how I look at it. There's no shame in a man or a woman crying. Crying does not mean you're weak. Oftentimes, crying means you've been strong for a long time, and you just need to let some tears go. I put the green on, but I'm also going to, that green, I forgot to tell you. The green eyeliner is by NYX, and it's called Emerald City. And then I'm just going to lightly line a little bit on the edge here with my Espresso by Maybelline, just so there's not so much green that it looks weird. In fact, I've never done this before, but I'm going to line my waterline with this espresso color. They don't look that bad either. My eyebrows need some help. I think I overdid them. This is Too Faced Prime Set Refresh Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. I sprayed it away from my face. Refreshing. Okay. We're almost finished. I'm going to let that dry while I'll try to do something with this hair. I did put mousse in it earlier. It didn't scrunch up like I wanted it to. I don't know why, but that's okay. Probably because I didn't take enough time to scrunch it up. I'm going to go with the brown instead of the black because I'm liking it lately. And when you see what lipstick I'm fixing to put on, you will understand why I need as much natural mascara as I can get. And this is the brownest black is what it's called. I can't seem to find one that's just strictly brown. If y'all know of one, let me know, please. Mascara, that is. I wasn't sure if you knew what I was talking about, because I wasn't sure if I said. Get this through. Have to package some orders, and I'm going to film some more videos. I don't know when I'll film the video giving my complete testimony and story of my traumatic brain injury. Like I said, it's personal, it's vulnerable, but it needs to be shared because I want you to know what God has brought me through, and I want God to get all the praise, the honor, and the glory, because if it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't have got through any of it. I don't know when I'll film it and have it uploaded, but it will be before the end of this month, which I know it's the 23rd, so it'll be sometime between now and the end of the month. And one reason I say this month is because, for one, I feel it's time, and two, because March is Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness Month. Okay, so we've got all that out of the way. You want to see what lipstick I'm going to wear? Make sure this is still recording. Yep. I've been putting the mirror behind it to make sure because I don't have a viewfinder on this camera. Alrighty. I have raw color pop. This is a color. You don't like that color? Bama goes, This is also by Color Pop. The lippy sticks. It's called Bunny. And it's this color. So I think I'm going to mix the two. Which lip's bigger? My bottom lip is bigger, I think. So I'm going to put raw. Why isn't it going on? Oh, I put chapstick on. Bama, you want a kiss? No. It's wrong. Alrighty. And then we have this one. That came out pretty green. Mixing the two together. Why is that not getting it? There we go. I got it done with these. Lovely. Alrighty. And that's it. All about green, traumatic brain injury awareness. And I hope this video has helped somebody. And stay tuned for when I post my traumatic brain injury story. Remember that you're not alone. And God loves you. And God bless.